No problem.
What's the case number?
2024 CR 0991. Sure.
Diners at a Odyssey trip.
All right. So anyway, sometimes people are on probation and they get off track, especially those who are young, because sometimes we end up with people in this group who are 18, 19. So as you can imagine, 18, 19, still high school mentality and everything. And so sometimes they don't report or something else will happen. And so I normally don't want to revoke them. Sometimes it just needs to, just one moment. Sometimes it's a matter of me talking to them and reminding them that they could potentially go to prison if they don't follow through on the contract. Because motions to revoke and probations, those are technical contracts. And it's a contract between the person who's accused and the court. And sometimes the state and the defense, they will come to an agreement on a motion to revoke, but I don't have to follow that agreement because it depends on, I look at everything and I have to remind the person who's before me, I don't have to follow their agreement because my contract is not with them. And so, of course, I know you're taking contracts your first year. So they are trying to amend the contract. And of course, it's not in writing. And I know you've done the four corners of the document thing. So probations, it's four corners of the document. What's in it? What was our agreement? And sometimes when they're on deferred, the thing about deferred adjudication, it's a form of probation, but it's not a conviction on your record. So let's say you get 4 years deferred on a third-degree felony. The good thing about it is you complete everything. It will show that it's been dismissed. It'll always be on your record, but it'll show dismissed. But the bad thing about deferred adjudications, and I always tell people, you know yourself better than I do, better than your attorney does, better than the probation officer does. Do you think you can do it? Because if you can't, and you're on deferred adjudication for a third-degree felony, if you have a motion to revoke filed against you, and I find it too, you're looking at the full range of punishment. So I can send you up to 10 years of prison.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
Now, if somebody's on what they call regular probation or community supervision is the legal term, but everybody here just says regular probation. That limits your liability. So say, for example, you're on probation for a third-degree felony and your underlying is 4 years, but you're going to be on probation for 6 years. That means if you mess it up, the most I would be able to sentence you to will be 4 years. That's it. So when I first started practicing, people would love to get deferred. So when you go to your employment and you're filling out, they'll ask you if you've ever been convicted of a felony before. You can say no. And you're like, yay. But now those applications have changed. And now employees will say, have you ever been on deferred adjudication, ever been charged, they put the whole list of things. And, that's sad. That's happened for some people, but now they do that. Oh, sometimes they do, because even though it shows up on their record or they have it on the record, sometimes you still, thank you. Sometimes they still will let you keep your
There's
job.
one seat next to.
But I always tell people here, for every job that you're seeking that requires a license, you need to figure out how this case is going to impact you getting that job. Because I had a lady once who went to nursing school. She graduated. And she came to see me and she forgot all about this theft case from when she worked at Dillard's. Because, I would always tell my students, if you work at Dillard's and Dillard's gives you a discount as an employee, legally, you're committing theft if you give that discount to somebody else. And I've seen people actually at different stores get fired when the company figures out you're letting somebody else use your discount, right? And so that's what she had done. And so they had charged her with theft. And she pled to it. And she went to nursing school, wanted to get her license. And she's like, can we get this expunged? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. It's like you're going to have to beg and plead, you know, with, it is. And we had somebody in our law class who had some issues. But what he did was he ended up going to the board himself, writing a letter. He had all of these people writing letters of support for him. And so they allowed him to have his license. But otherwise, you're sort of stuck. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why I always tell people, you got to be very careful. But I remember theft cases, oh my gosh, they were so complicated because people would get caught stealing at a store. You know, they work there. And they would take them in a back room with a security guard and having them sign stuff and admit to stuff. And then after you do that, then the store wants to charge you like $2,500. And so I had somebody once, I'm like, what is this $2,500 they're trying to charge you for? And they would sue you civilly. And so I was just like, on the principle of the matter, I'm going to do this case and we're doing it for free. So we started doing discovery back and forth because I'm trying to figure out, where did you come up with $2,500? And it was just a top that cost $20. But so the person is doing, you know, the Class C for stealing the top, right?
Yes.
And then the store is coming back wanting $2,500. Yes. Major windfall. And so there's like, well, it's the stocking fee and it's the cost of the security guard and it's this. And so I'm like, how many times have you received your $2,500? Because some people had paid $2,500. It's outrageous. But they will send you a letter, and the letter is pretty terrifying when you look at it. And we're going to garnish your wages. You're just like, what? So, yeah. But Sean, are you ready for Malik? All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Malik Lampkin.